Hello my crafty friends. Well, today I'm going to show you how to take a very simple card design and then step it up to create 2 additional cards. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, we are going to play around with a couple of different techniques. We're going to play around with some blending pens, and we are also going to play around with the step it up technique. So this is a great way to just take a design, maybe one of your favorite designs, and just step it up a little bit just to change the look of it. Now the cards in this video feature the Loveliest Tree stamp set from Stampin Up. So this particular stamp set works perfect with the watercolor pencils and the blending pens, which we will be using today. But you can use any supplies you have on hand with this technique. Okay, so this is the basic card design that we are going to use to create all 3 cards. So it's just a very simple card design. I really wanted to highlight the beautiful tree that is in this stamp set. And so I really didn't add a whole lot to this card. So let me show you how I made it. So you're going to start with a piece of white cardstock, which is cut at 3 3/4 inches by 5 inches. And I cut it at this particular length because I'm putting a little bit of old olive matting behind this before I adhere it to the cardstock. So we're going to start by stamping with some early espresso ink, and I'm just going to use the large tree image in this set, and we're just going to ink this up and stamp it kind of in the center. And we'll go ahead and add our little greeting right away too, and I'm just using early espresso for that. And now we're going to use some colored pencils. So I have early espresso, garden green, and old olive, and then I also have a blender pen. And so this blender pen is actually filled with a solution, and there's 2 different ends here. They're both brush tips. So we're going to use the blender pen after we do our coloring with the watercolor pencils. So basically what I'm going to do is just color all over this image, and you don't have to be perfect about it. You just need to add some color because the blender pen is going to help spread this color all over in the areas even that we missed. All right, next I'm just going to take a little bit of this garden green, and I'm just going to color in different spots all over this tree. So I just thought the 2 different greens really just gave this tree a very cool look. And although it looks blotchy now, that's what the blender pen is for, so it'll help us just kind of blend everything together. And then I'm just going to use the early espresso just to add some color to the trunk of the tree. Okay, so now we're ready to use our blender pen. So basically I'm just going to take this and just kind of go along all the areas that I colored in, and this is just going to blend it all really nicely. So we're just going to finish blending, and we'll just pull that color into spots that we may not have used the watercolor pencil on. So that's the beauty of the blender pen. It has that solution in it that just kind of helps you pull this color all over the image. And this is the perfect image for this particular technique. All right, so that's the green. And then we're going to take the opposite side of this blender pen, and we're going to use it to color in the brown here. And that is how you do the blending. So now we are ready to create our card. So the first thing I did is I cut a piece of early espresso cardstock. So this is just your standard card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4 inches to create the base of the card. We're creating a landscape style card. And then I just have a 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece of old olive, and we're going to take our tree and we are going to add it to this old olive, and then we're just going to add this to our card front. And then I just added a couple little strips of cardstock, so I stuck with the same colors, the old olive and the early espresso. So this piece is just a 1/2 inch wide, and it is 3 3/4 inches long, so it's the same length as the white cardstock here. So we'll add that first. And then this little piece is 1/4 inch wide, and it's the same length. It's 3 3/4 inches. Then we're just going to add some little adhesive backed textured dots. So these are similar to the rustic dots, the metallic dots that we had in the previous catalog. And they make just a really nice little embellishment on the side of the card. So that is it. Very simple and very beautiful. And on the inside, I just actually used the same border that I did on the outside and just added a little leaf on the inside. So very beautiful, make a perfect sympathy card as well. Okay, so now that we have the basic design created, it's very easy to step this up. So you use the exact same measurements that I did to create this card, except the only difference on this card is that I did a little embossing. So after I colored in everything on the tree, I embossed this with the Timber 3D embossing folder and just added a little bit of linen thread just to change the look of the card. So super simple way to step up your card. And then the third card idea is simply a fun fold card. So I created a very simple fun fold card. So for this particular card, I started with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of early espresso cardstock. I just scored it in the middle at 5 1/2 inches, but I cut off 1 inch from the front of the card. That's all I did. And then I just shortened these pieces down to create the little tree for the front of the card. So very simple way to just kind of change the look of the card without actually changing the whole design. Okay, so there you go. Now you know how to take a very simple card design and step it up to create 2 additional cards. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.